Citation, welcome to podcast The Storm, where we're socially awkward outcasts, crazy riddles, and all manners. We talk and debate all things pop culture. With me, aka the authenticator.
Hello, everyone.
And most last time I want to be the pop culture. How's everyone doing tonight?
I am doing mostly okay. And I am checking the chat to see if Dragon Turtle has shown up yet. No, he is not there.
They're always late. We're just waiting for the first article. It's kind of I'm uncertain if it's going to be a short one or not, just given that we don't have everything we'd want for this week. And I also apologize for the lateness. I know we usually do this at 8:30. Again, I apologize. I attended a wrestling event. It's rather fun. And also Dawn and I were discussing some things pre-stream, and we got a little carried away. I got a little carried away, and I apologize for that. Okay. So, funnily enough, I actually I pretty much found everything this week.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a rarity, actually.
Uh-huh.
No, actually, that's never happened. Well, no, I don't think I... No. Maybe like in the first couple episodes. Maybe.
Yeah. Like when it was still in the single digits.
Yeah. Okay, I just randomly came across these articles. So this is from yahoo.com. God damn it. Okay, there we go. I don't know why it was... Hello?
I assume you were having connection issues again.
Looks like it, but can you hear me?
Yep, we're all good.
Can you see it?
Yep.
No, I do not want update. I do not want fucking notifications for Yahoo or Yahoo. Okay, so yeah, this is about a week or so. Okay, well, hold on. It's about a week old. So, James Gunn may be teasing Martian Manhunter casting by hinting Peacemaker star. I'm gonna butcher this, and I apologize to the actor. Chukwudi Iwuji could return in a new role that isn't so humanoid. It's written by George Marston, published Friday, August 8th, 2025. He was that guy who was allies with Peacemaker, who was possessed by a butterfly in season 1. He was also the actor was also the High Evolutionary in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
So James continues to hire his friends for important roles, potentially.
Well, he's also a good actor, too, I mean. So.
Yeah, he did a really good job as the High Evolutionary. It's a shame that character appears to have gone nowhere post Guardians 3.
There actually was a deleted scene where he is locked up by Rocket.
Yeah.
which I feel like actually should have been kept. Not gonna lie,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like that's.
A lot of the deleted scenes end up being that way, where it's like it would have been better if these were just left in.
I mean, to be fair, that like can be cut out because but there are some movies that legitimately deleted stuff is literally part of the movie that makes the movie feel so empty.
Yep. And yes, I'm going to beat this drum again because I am a predictable motherfucker. The priest killing scene in Doctor Strange and the dog scene in Doctor Strange were crucial elements of the movie that got left on the cutting room floor, and the movie feels incomplete without.
All right, to pull out one of mine, Assassin's Creed 2016, right?
Uh-huh.
They cut out a whole character that helps with the characterization. Well, they cut out a lot of stuff that helps with building up the character of Callum, played by Michael Fassbender. But they also deleted a whole ass character that adds depth to other characters in the Shin. Like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Also, apparently, and we'll probably cover this next week as well, because I just randomly came across it. Because I'll have to look into it and find some articles about it. But Netflix's Assassin's Creed series is finally out of development hell.
Cool.
That's all I've heard so far. Like I said, I'll look into it and see what we can find, and we can discuss it next week. But yeah.
Yeah, we will see on which side of the Netflix coin it's on, whether it's on the Castlevania Tresse Blood of Zeus side of the coin, or the Death Note Cowboy Bebop side of the coin. Obviously, I'm hoping for the former rather than the latter, but you can never tell with Netflix.
Relatively early, so we might not hear anything yet. Like big, mind you, but
I hope for your sake it's on the first side of the coin.
Oh no,
not
yeah.
The second. Because
I mean,
my God,
live action either. Animated, obviously, it would be fairly easy to do. But I would like to see them do the designs and stuff. It would have to be kind of not high budget, but a decently sized budget for live action.
kind of like the One Piece adaptation.
Yes. Well, maybe not that high in terms of budget,
but somewhere in that general vicinity.
Half, depending.
Mm-hmm.
For the whole series, because I think there's a good portion for each episode, obviously, for One Piece, which also, I don't know if we covered the first trailer for the first season, because, to be fully honest, I'm not super big into One Piece.
Me either. I mostly remember everything I know about One Piece because after Dragon Ball on Toonami, One Piece would come on, and the opening exposition title sequence basically drops all the lore of One Piece. That basically sums up the majority of my understanding of One Piece.
It's a lot. Well, to be fair, it's like over 1,000 chapters now at this point, I think.
Yeah, it is for anime what The Simpsons is for Western cartoons.
People love it though.
That's why it is the anime equivalent of The Simpsons. But yeah, it is long.
Nothing against the series. Everything I've looked into it because I have looked into it because I was curious.
Mm.
It's good. It's good. It's a thing, right? I'm just not. It's my cup of tea. It's just like I'm.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
I know that's an excuse for some people that I just. Again, I'm me, so it takes a while for me to get into something, and again, those who love it. I'm not gonna say don't love it or anything because again, I don't have any leg to stand on that.
But it's multiple decades worth of TV to catch up on if you want to watch everything.
Yeah. To be fair, I have binged all of SVU, so to be fair, I did skip episodes, at times because I was
Mhm.
so. Yeah, that's over 24, 25 seasons, so I don't really have anything to talk about then. To be fair, I'm just not big into anime anymore. I kind of grew out of it. Not grew out of it, but I just nothing really caught my attention anymore in terms of anime. So
And I'm still waiting for Overlord season 4 and the second half of the Legend of Sinbad Magi spinoff. Because god
anyway,
damn it, he's
one of the
supposed to
roles
have
James
sex.
Gunn,
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
one of the roles of James Gunn's new DC universe is that he doesn't plan to cast actors who've already appeared in his DC shows or movies as new characters. However, the filmmaker states he's willing to make certain exceptions, particularly for Chibuki Iwuji. Again, I'm sorry if I say that name wrong. I'm just not good with names.
He could fuck up John Smith if he wasn't careful, folks. Let's be real here.
Fuck you. Who portrayed? Okay,
But
who portrayed?
that wasn't a "you're wrong" fuck you, was it? It was a "stop telling the audience true things" fuck you.
I figured the pause was enough of a giveaway for that. Also, still fuck you.
Uh-huh.
Who portrayed Clemson Murn in Peacemaker season 1? Speaking on the official Peacemaker podcast via comicbook.com, Gunn says, "I think Clemson Murn is canon. Maybe his face might not be canon if we wanted to cast Chuk as something else in the DCU. And also, Chuk could end up being some other character, one that isn't so humanoid, necessarily Martian Manhunter."
Mm-hmm.
Because there are a lot of less than
there are a lot of
characters
there's a lot of
DC
non-humanoid or
Comics.
only humanoid adjacent DC characters. We could, granted, if it turns out to be Martian Manhunter, that's pretty good casting. It'll be interesting to see him play a more heroic character because, of course, High Evolutionary was his take on a bad guy.
Yeah, it was good though. It was very good. Okay, that actually might be one of the few times you're cool going against typecasting.
Well, it's because I don't think he wasn't such a good villain actor that he should be typecasted into villain roles. And honestly, I can kind of picture his version of Martian Manhunter now that this article has put the idea in my head and it's not terrible. I'm not sure if he would be the person I would cast. Obviously, with Martian Manhunter, it probably would be more of a voice work role than a physical performance role, depending, of course, on how they want to portray Martian Manhunter. But I don't mind.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if it was me, and I think you would agree on this, a mix of practical and CGI, obviously.
Yeah. But he wouldn't be a bad choice for John.
Yeah. No, I agree. I totally agree. Okay. The idea that Iwuji would return as a less humanoid character immediately has me thinking of Gunn's recent tease about the Martian Manhunter being part of the new DC. Okay, I've not heard of that. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that either. It's about fucking time because we've been
Seriously
3.5 DC reboots deep and we still haven't gotten Martian Manhunter.
Okay, the thing that bugged, and there are a lot of things that bug me about this Snyderverse, and I don't like talking about it because obviously it's kind of buried at this point.
Yeah.
But the fact that they not only casted him, but they showed him, they teased him, they had an idea that he was going to be built up.
And they didn't use it.
Well, they could. They didn't really have. Yeah, there were too many reasons to count on why that shit didn't happen.
Right, but yeah, the fact that the effort was put in and then summarily dismissed is annoying.
Right. But the thing that also bugs me is that Martian Manhunter, right? John Jones or any of the other aliases, because he actually has taken on multiple personas on Earth during his stay. Like, he's been a feisty blonde reporter, like bombshell
I forgot
reporter.
about that.
That's the
hilarious.
thing. Look it up. He's even
No,
played.
I remember. I remember now. It's just. It's not.
Shaped into it hadn't been a pet for a person. Like seriously. But the dude is one of the founding members of the Justice League. Like, go back to Brave and the Bold, number 26, I believe. He is one of the founding 7 members of the Justice League.
And not only did they not use him, they kind of replaced him with Cyborg.
I blame New 52 for whatever fucking reason they did that.
Yeah, New 52. New 52 fucked up a lot of things, but yes, that is also one of them.
But he is also he's a character with so much potential, so much backstory, and just so interesting because Superman, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is, well, he has so much, for being a human character, he has so much humanity, so much heart, so much soul.
Mm-hmm. One of the reasons.
Superman who has,
go ahead.
Sorry, just final thing there before you do. He, unlike Superman, who has a connection to a people, which is, Earth, humanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Granted, depending on the continuity, Martian Manhunter is the last of his kind. He is a survivor. He is a broken.
He watched his species die.
Yeah, lost everyone he loved, but instead of, to be fair, he does have his issues. He does have his pain, right? But despite all of that torment, all that,
it just made him wiser.
He chooses to be a hero, to protect Earth with his fellow friends, the other superheroes. And he doesn't isolate himself. Well, it's depending, but he takes on personas, secret identities, not just one, like John Jones, who is, usually what people think of, right?
Mm.
The police detective.
Mm-hmm.
Which, funny enough, Manhunter, he's a cop usually on his home planet as well.
And a bounty hunter. That's why the Manhunter thing.
Yeah. But he takes on to experience humanity, to understand humanity.
Yep. That's why some of the best scenes in the Justice League Unlimited cartoon were John-centric ones. Like, for example, Clark dragging him home for Christmas because John didn't have anybody to spend Christmas with.
That was the original Justice League cartoon before Unlimited, I think.
Right. Or in The Return, when you basically have John and Dr. Fate essentially trying to out-mystify each other, like out-wise each other. Fucking amazing scene.
Right. Also, okay, I haven't read. I want to get the comic or the graphic novel of DC's New Frontier, but Justice League New Frontier, which was based off it.
Mm-hmm.
Martian Manhunter played a central point to that. I think he does in the comic as well, but that dude was awesome. Like, seriously, like, people got it. Like, okay, if we got Mr. Terrific to be recognized for how cool he is, we need the same fucking treatment for goddamn.
Yeah, put some respect on John Jones' name there, my dudes. And one of the most infuriating changes that they made to the Netflix Sandman was cutting out all the DC shit. And one of the best uses of DC shit as relates to Sandman is in the issue called Passengers, when John sees Dream and sees him as the Martian deity of dreams, Lord Lazoral. Fucking amazing.
All right. I don't think I have anything else to say, so shall we continue?
Yep, moving on.
All right. Maybe it's a bit of wishful thinking on my parts, but Iwuji would be a perfect actor to take that role. His gravitas and humanity would lend themselves nicely to the Justice League mainstay.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. But like I say, I can picture him playing the character, which is a good start. He wouldn't necessarily have been my casting, but James likes doing his friends solid, so fair enough.
Okay. Course Gunn could merely be opining about how much such a situation could be handled. He may not have a particular role in mind for Iwuji yet. That said, he's already made at least one exception to the role, with Michael Rooker, who played Savant in the Suicide Squad, set to appear as a new character in Peacemaker Season 2. And of course, Jason Momoa, who played Aquaman in the previous DCEU, will play Lobo in the DCEU. Okay, I wasn't sure. I heard Jason Momoa either wanted to play or he's been. Some people have thought he want, but okay, confirmation there.
Which I'm not opposed to doing fan casting. Which, by the way, James, Matt Smith as Dr. Fate, Kent Nelson, and Oded Freyer as the voice of Nabu, and Rebecca Ferguson as Inza. I'm throwing it out there. I am gifting it to you on a silver fucking platter. Please take it. And no, I will not let that go. Not until it happens. Also, speaking of fan service and fan casting, since I already threw my my Dr. Fate fan cast in there. James, get on the line with Joe Johnson, Travis Knight, and Paul King. Those three working together could make a genuinely kick-ass Dr. Fate movie. Do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
All right. However Iwuji might play as a new character, he'd be a welcome addition to the new cinematic DC universe, especially in a role that gives him a more superheroic spotlight. Peacemaker Season 2 premieres August 21st. While we wait, check out our guide to all the upcoming... Okay. Yeah. That's the end of that article there.
Alrighty. Next.
Yeah, give me a second, it's loading. Come on. Yeah, I really need to buy a new computer.
You do. Either that or I need to get you one for Christmas.
No, I gotta... I'll type it in for you, but I have a... I'll private chat you, but I have plans on getting one.
Well, that's good. As long as it's in the work. Because my God, it's kind of amazing how consistently we've managed to do this show when you consider that you have essentially a potato. But at the same time, it would probably go a bit smoother if we didn't have quite so many technical difficulties. On the topic of spending money in order to make the show better, though, have you considered buying a higher end subscription to StreamYard so we can go back to doing like one shots and soliloquies and what have you? like the old
I'm
days.
I'm considering. I gotta look at the stuff first.
Hmm.
And also, I'm probably gonna have to reset a password.
Uh-huh.
All right, but yeah, I sent that thing in private chat for you. Okay, let me see. Yes, okay. Let me hit the share screen.
Who was the showrunner behind Doom Patrol? That name spontaneously left my head, but he would also be a good influence, I think, on a Dr. Fate movie.
Hold on. All right, so another one is from the direct.com.
Hmm.
Yeah, .com. James Gunn is having second thoughts about certain DCU decisions. Probably should have started off with this one now that I think about it.
Mayhaps, but until I can figure out how to get time travel to work, we are where we are.
Okay, Jeremy Carver.
It's it's good. Yeah, it's good that you have second thoughts, James.
Too late.
You might want you might want to have had this epiphany while you were still making the thing, because then Superman wouldn't be a fun but very, very, very flawed movie that gets pulled in 500 different directions at the same time. Because anyway, we've made our opinions on the new Superman movie clear many, many, many times over. Moving on.
You have. I thought it was fine. Although I recently found out that apparently there were supposed to be titles like for the days because it was all supposed to be within like a week, like the whole movie.
Okay,
And
that would
test
have been an interesting idea.
yeah, it was supposed to kind of be based off Superman for All Seasons, in that
Okay,
regard. But test audiences said it didn't work, or they didn't like it, or something like that.
I this is why Hollywood is so fucked. They do not like know how to determine what is a good creative idea and what isn't one. Because honestly, that would have made the like quasi episodic structure a little bit smoother if they had done that. Yeah.
All right. James Gunn opened up about the challenges of developing the DCU and the regrets he made along the way. It's written by Aaron Okay, I'm going to butcher this, and I so apologize to the writer of this article. Aaron Eclarian. And this was published August 10th, 2025.
Okay.
James Gunn shared that he has second thoughts about certain decisions he made while developing some projects under a DCU banner. Gunn's takeover of the DCU has garnered widespread attention from fans worldwide. Anticipation has been sky high ever since the release of its first big screen project, Superman. Gunn, who serves as the co-head of DC Studios along with Peter Safran, will look to correct past mistakes made by the DCEU and make a much more cohesive DC universe. He's already doing so by strongly connecting the franchise's movies, TV shows, and animation projects, with Superman having tied in with Creature Commandos, Peacemaker Season 2, and Lanterns. Okay, Creature Commandos, because I have seen that, is a brief cameo. Like, that's really it. Unless they're talking about, well, no, they're not even talking about Season 2, because they made a point to make Peacemaker Season 2 as well, so. Anything to add on, or?
No, moving on.
Okay. Amid the DCU strong start, James Gunn via Threads opened up about the changes he would have made with certain decisions for the DCU after a fan asked him if he would alter any moves he made for the studio. A question: if you could go back to the beginning of accepting the co-CEO position, would you alter any moves you've made so far? I'd alter moves I made this morning, my friend, much less over the past 2 years. James Gunn's latest comments echoed what he told Comic Book in February 2025 if he had any regrets after announcing the slate for DCU's Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, noting that there will always be little things he wishes he had done differently, but still he feels so lucky with the current position he's in. I mean, life's complicated. There are always little things like, I wish I did that differently. I wish I had asked David to do that differently. It's just like little things. There are writers that we put on projects that I wish we didn't, but overall I feel just so lucky.
James, I don't want to sound like a complete asshole here. I'm probably going to anyway, but I don't want to sound like a complete asshole. But those little... Yes.
Sorry, no, I don't mean to cut you off real quick. I want to add this little anecdote before you continue. Your default setting is sounding like an asshole.
This is also true, but being that as it may, at risk of sounding like an even more pedantic asshole than usual, I hate to burst this particular bubble, James, but those little details matter. Like those, you ever hear the expression "death by 1,000 paper cuts"? Those little details matter, and like I know hindsight is 20/20 and everything, but being as you're in a Kevin Feige-esque position now, you have to get better at, frankly, fixing those little details the first time, i.e., while you're still making it, not after you've released the thing. Because, again, being a bit of an asshole here, a lot of the problems I had with Superman 2025 were each individually very small things, but those small things being wrong or being weird or being incomplete added up. You see. So I'm all for self-reflection, James, but you should have been having this self-reflection while making the thing so as to avoid the mistakes in the first place. Hindsight is 20/20, but you got to get better at doing it right the first time, or if not the first time, at least the second, third, or fourth, round of reshoots and or like editing. That's what the editing process is for. That's what post-production is for, and you need to get better at making these decisions before you release the thing, so that the holes aren't quite as glaring as they were with Superman 2025. Moving on.
All right. Superman director continued by reiterating that he feels remarkably fortunate to collaborate with his team on ensuring to produce high-quality content for DC, yet acknowledging that they will still commit mistakes. We are an organization of basically 13 people that's able to produce all this material and have it go and have it all be high quality. We're going to make mistakes. Some things are going to be better than others, so we're doing everything we can to make everything as good as possible, and I feel remarkably fortunate.
Right, but James, it's not like you're forced to make these movies in a week or something, James. You have 3 years usually between projects in which you can workshop different things and go, does this storyline or this plot thread work? Should we change it to this thing? Should we update this or tweak that? Like, these are the sorts of decisions you have to make while you're producing the thing, because having these kind of self-reflection articles after you release them just makes you seem like a bit of a twat. Sorry. You have 2 years. Take your time and get it right.
Just because we're almost halfway done, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can we spend like a moment? Because I know we've done these a few times just because it's just how our brains work. but pitching our ideas for it, not to say, look, I'm gonna be honest. I think the projects James Gunn want to do are not bad ones. I think the order of them and more or less the randomized nature of it does feel a bit off.
The throw things at the wall to see what sticks approach.
Yeah. And we've had multiple ideas of how to kind of better construct it. I know one of the ones was, I think this was the one I pitched, which was kind of hold off on doing like characters like like the Trinity for the most part, and do like I think I pitched like Just League International, right? Like do that. Obviously, minus like
yeah. Go ahead.
Minus like Batman being in there. I maybe have Martian Man. Well, yeah, you could, because again, he's not been used much, so I think having him kind of not being like a big player or a major player in the story, sure. Starting out would actually be pretty good.
In short, since James Gunn excels at doing obscure characters and weird characters, lead with what you're good at, James.
I think I can't remember how long ago it was. It was a few months back, I think, but
I think it might have been like literally as we were watching the announcement video we started coming up with these ideas.
No, I know we came up with like that, but I'm talking about the Just League International thing. That was actually not too long ago. I think it was like when we were watching either the final trailer for Superman.
I think it might have been the second one.
I can't remember. It's been a while. But I think my pick for Just League International. Hold on, let's see if I still have that written down somewhere. Actually, because I write a lot of shit down, so bear with me. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, idea was to hold off on the Trinity, Aquaman, the Flash, and several other characters used in the DCU for a moment. Two major inspirations were, Just League International Comics and DC: The New Frontier. And the major characters I wanted to do, kind of off the bat, right, were Martian Manhunter, Dr. Light, the Kimio Yoshi one, the hero version of Dr. Light.
Yeah.
Fire and Ice, because they're part of Just League International just overall.
Neat.
Yeah. Mr. Miracle, because again, he was part of that. And we deserve to get the fucking new gods because they were teasing those motherfuckers in DCEU.
They were.
Also, I also want to say fuck off with that goddamn whatever series that is. Actually, okay. From what I understand, the Mr. Miracle series is an ad, like the comic written by Tom King. But given how his reputation has been, and that he's going to be basically kind of a showrunner-ish, kind of with the animated series coming out, it's left a lot to be desired, correct? Yeah, but Mr. Miracle, for sure, just because if we're still using James Gunn and like his kind of style and stuff, we're getting Jack Kirby, New Gods, man. Like, fuck.
Yeah, if you're going to go Kirby, then go Kirby. If you don't want to go Kirby, leave the Kirby characters the fuck alone, please.
All right. I think to replace Batman, I wanted to do The Question for that like kind of detective noir kind of aspect.
That would be a good choice, and that would be an instance where you actually would want Zack Snyder at the helm, because that's a character who lends himself, by definition, to the very same Randian objectivist overtones as Zack Snyder. And also, we've already seen what Zack Snyder did with Rorschach, and translating that to The Question would not be a very difficult thing.
Right. Obviously, I wanted to keep Mr. Terrific because fantastic, obviously. And just because it would gel a lot with kind of the sort of indie punk nature of James Gunn.
Mm-hmm.
Green Arrow and Black Canary.
I could see them working.
Um,
Kind of in a Gamora Star-Lord sort of way.
well, then I just think Green Arrow, like Oliver Queen, Green Arrow overall, I think just works for James Gunn. Just
Yeah, and there's a character that you can turn into a mouthpiece if you really need to, James, because he's already, like, for decades now, he has been the token lefty. So making him the token lefty actually works with Green Arrow. Because, again, then you are channeling what the character always was and is, rather than twisting the character to your own ends.
right. And again, just to keep it weird and obscure, Animal Man.
Good God, James Gunn would kill a Ant-Man movie or Animal Man movie, excuse me.
Okay, I was
But
gonna say.
yeah, but yeah,
But also,
and
I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see that costume, like just put to cinema, actually, because it's a simple costume, but it looks so cool.
yeah, but I getting James Gunn to do an Animal Man movie that adapts
Grant Morrison run.
the Grant Morrison run. My fucking God, that would be genius.
I am debating getting that. It's not that I'm not a big. I think people, if you've been on this if you've watched this podcast enough, you know I am a fan of Grant Morrison. I think they are a bit out there sometimes, but it's genuinely good stuff. I genuinely enjoy it.
Yep.
And
it's in my Amazon cart too.
Okay. Did not know that.
Yep.
You know what?
I have so many things in my save for later cart on Amazon. You have absolutely no idea.
To be fully honest, I always kind of assume it's mostly magic books or something of the like, which I'm going to assume is a good percentage.
I mean, yes, there are a bunch of grimoires in there. I actually recently found a 3-volume set of English translations of old Germanic grimoires that are really interesting.
So I'm also going to be fully honest. I can agree with keeping a Green Lantern, but it's kind of the Green Lantern that I really would like to see, just because of his background. Would have such a play. You could get so much more creative with the constructs.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Rayner Green, because he is an artist. He is a cartoonist. Literally in the comics, he has done such grand and fantastical constructs with his ring.
Mm-hmm.
And he has such an interesting story as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because after Hal Jordan became Parallax and basically destroyed most of the Green Lantern Corps at the time, Kyle Rayner was kind of the one to be chosen and kind of to be fair, I'm going off anecdotes that I have read from his fandom page.
Mm-hmm.
So possibly he either helped rebuild it or helped. He was like the last Green Lantern for a while.
Mm-hmm. Also, alternatively, if you wanted to pander to a bunch of millennials and Zoomers, John Stewart. Just saying. Because us millennials were spoiled growing up with the Paul Dini, Bruce Timm DC animated universe, and
I mean,
we're still waiting to.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't be opposed to it, but yeah, it's not an issue, mind you, but I just think because of the DC animated universe, he got like really big, and I'm not saying that's an issue. Obviously, like I grew up with that, and Jon Stewart was kind of my Green Lantern growing up. But as I've looked at Kyle Rayner, he's an interesting character, and he hasn't really gotten a proper adaptation. So I wanted to give him, like my in my mind, I want to give that character some light as well, spotlight. Um, but yeah, no, it's just like that would kind of be my start to a DCU. I think you went with like the like times you've pitched your own DCU. Um, you wanted to do obviously stick to like the gods and monsters thing more so.
Yeah. If it's called Gods and Monsters, then far be it from me to be autistically literal, but I expect gods and monsters. And there is definitely enough material in the DC universe that it's actually god and monster related that you don't need to pull the we're just being metaphorical when we call them gods and monsters. No, fuck that. There are plenty of characters that you could do that are like actual gods and or monster related shit, and it doesn't need to pull the well, Superman is metaphorically a god thing. No, fuck that noise. There are actual literal gods you can use. Why are you using the metaphorical ones? But again, this may just be me being unaccountably autistic about shit. But I would prefer you at least like I would prefer if at least the majority of projects in the phase known as Gods and Monsters had some more straightforward connection to gods and or monsters. Moving on.
Right. Another challenge that Gunn faced when stepping into his new leadership role was the mishandling of Henry Cavill's Superman. DC CEO really opened up about having to sit down with Cavill to settle the score. They already closed all of a sudden. They were like, what's your plan? Like, the plan was to come in and do Superman, so to him, and it was a total bummer. The day it was always announcing that Henry was back, and I'm like, what is going on? What? Old.
I'm.
It's written again, like that whole thing.
It's weird.
With an expensive year in the past, he has already held changed would probably make now be how just was handled because it direct conflicts with the new he created. Speaking with IGN in December 2024, that almost all of his canon, except the Justice League, and despite.
Oh dear. I kind of figured that was about to happen when he started roboting. But waiting for him to come back, presumably. And let's check and see. We don't appear to have an audience as yet this evening. But yeah, I think everyone and their dog is sitting there going, why in the fuck couldn't James Gunn just have, made... Hell, you could even have him make the same movie, but make it with Henry. And it would probably have gone over better. Again, I still have major issues with the writing and things of Superman 2025. but I think with Henry Cavill still in there, it would have been better. It would have been better off. Granted, James Gunn kind of made Clark his self-insert for the sake of Superman 2025, and that was part of the issue. But hell, I'm sure with Henry, being the massive fanboy that Henry is, he could have put his foot down on a couple of things, and that could have even helped solve that issue. Still waiting on Brainstormer to come back, though. I don't really have anything else to talk about beyond a couple of my ideas for projects I would have liked to have seen in the new DC universe. I still think the idea of doing a Golden Age set series of period pieces and focusing on the JSA rather than the JLA would have worked, but I will be beating that drum until 2038 probably. Assuming that Warner Brothers still even owns DC by that time. Yeah. Okay, you're back. Good.
Hello.
Yep.
Okay. It just fucking froze on me, and I thought you disconnected because I was still here, and then I looked at the YouTube and
on my end you started roboting, and then you disappeared.
Where did I lose you?
Speaking with IGN, I think.
The just.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on. I'm looking. Okay, hold on. Fucking Christ, I hate this shit. Okay. There we go. Truth is, almost all of Peacemaker is canon, with the exception of Justice League, which we will kind of deal with in next season. Peacemaker. DC is going to have 11 movies in development, with one of them recently being confirmed by James Gunn. Hopefully they don't fuck it up.
We shall see.
Because I've seen people talk about who should play Wonder Woman, right?
Right.
And again, this is my own personal opinion, so feel free to take with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying the lady has to be tall. Obviously, maybe on the side, maybe at the very least 6 foot or little taller. Nothing too crazy.
She is supposed to be an Amazon after all.
Yeah. Obviously, you do a little, you could do a little forced perspective or a little CGI manipulation. Sure.
But still. Yeah.
Also, okay, if anyone's ever seen the art, like those, what is that art referred to? Cheesecake art of Wonder Woman? Like those covers?
Yes.
Is it, I don't know who did the art. I can't remember the name of the guy who did the art for that, but where she has, she is, how to say it, desirable in terms of she's attractive, but she's built, right?
Yeah, she's supposed to be a warrior. That was one thing that's one thing they definitely did right in Justice League. Justice League as in the Paul Dini Bruce Timm one, not Justice League either of the movies.
Again, physically, yes, gotta do.
She's supposed to be imposing, but imposing in still a very feminine, attractive sort of way,
but also
like an ancient Greek statue, essentially.
this is also going to be a weird thing for me. The designs I've seen of her, like even like the older ones, well, not the older ones, but like 80s, 90s kind of designs for her, not the
Mhm.
weird costume they had for her where she was, but curly hair,
Mhm.
weird design wise, yes, but okay. Back to the actress. She has to be disciplined, regal, but most importantly, like with Superman, very kind, very compassionate.
And
Um,
if you're not planning on keeping Gal Gadot, then I would go with an unknown actress because
yeah,
I don't think there is any currently famous actress who would be very good at the role. I would suggest
someone,
maybe I would suggest maybe seeing if any of the women in MMA would be interested in getting into acting, assuming you can find one who can be both badass enough to kick ass convincingly, but also capable of being potent. I'd love to say Gina Carano, but Gina Carano is, of course, persona non grata in Hollywood, so que sera, sera.
I remember someone bringing up, I believe her name is Jamie Alexander.
I know that name, but I don't have any recollection as to where I know it from.
She is Lady Sif in the MCU.
Ah, okay. Yep.
She's also in a series called Blind Spots.
Hmm.
But someone had thought her because she can do that warriorness, obviously like Sif, but also very like the regal, very like
Poised or graceful.
yeah. Um, but again, I do agree. Like unknown actress actually would probably be preferable. Um,
And
and if
again,
you want
I
to,
would, yeah, I would still like keep within the like female athlete space and see if any of them are any good at acting.
yeah, okay. If you wanted to be accurate, right?
Mhm.
Maybe try to find a Greek one as well.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
It's not a necessity or anything, but
No, 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 no.
it would certainly be nice. Is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yeah.
Kind of like how it worked so well with Gal Gadot because Gal Gadot is Israeli, which isn't all that far from Greece. Especially because Gal Gadot could convincingly look like she could kick ass because uh, the Israeli government has a mandatory military service record thing. So,
Mm.
like,
Anyway,
my gut says look in the direction of MMA fighters, but that's just me.
also costume wise, I'm gonna be honest. I don't like the armor look. Um, well, obviously, what I mean by that, I don't like the full armor because I think it looks a bit too clunky or not as movable.
Right.
Um, so in my mind, uh, go kind of a combination like metal pieces, like the Wonder Woman symbol, the bracers, possibly armor on the legs and stuff. And you can do the skirt. I got no problem with the skirt. I don't need to see the uh, bikini thing. I don't really care
Hmm.
about that. Because to be fair, the original design had her in a skirt.
Hmm.
The '40s one. So
Yeah.
you want to be accurate on that, sure. Um, I I think what would make the most sense to me if you wanted to both make it comic booky but also semi realistic, and obviously to define my term of realism here
Hmm.
is that it seems plausible within the world, like
Hmm.
something she could actually wear and not just something, uh, how to say.
not just something for cosplayers to emulate.
Yes. Go leather, because there is leather armor. Like, I believe Greece did do leather armor. Yes, bronze. I
They
was
did.
aware of like the
Yeah,
chest plates and stuff.
they did a lot of work with leather armor. Yes. Also yes, bronze. Like, I what I would do is I would layer leather armor together with bronze armor, so that it could still look light and efficient, while also looking like,
Armored.
yeah, she could still take a few hits. Granted,
Yeah.
given that it's Wonder Woman, there are very few who can hit back at her in the way that
And again,
the
okay,
armor would be
this is
necessary.
just this is just me. This is just me. But because a lot of people casted her like in the '90s and stuff, like fan casted her,
Mm.
Lucy Lawless as Hippolyta.
That could be a good choice. Rebecca
Not to
Romaine
mention,
would also be a
not to
good
mention,
choice for Hippolyta.
she was also the voice of Wonder Woman in Justice League New Frontier.
Right.
Lucy Lawless, I mean,
Um.
not Rebecca Romaine.
Yeah. But here's another thing. Um. Diana's armor is supposed to be forged by Hephaestus, so you need to. This is just me being a bit,
As you
fan
are.
casting oriented and pedantic. But look at actual Greek armor to help you design her armor, please. Look at what depictions of Diana, the goddess of the hunt, also were like, because that is one of the reasons
Okay,
she's called
okay.
Diana, is because it's supposed to
Question,
be a reference to the goddess of the hunt.
because I can't. I think we did look up the description they had for was it Paradise Island or Paradise Lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's supposed to be a prequel to Wonder Woman with the Amazons,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and they were going more like the New 52 routes with the Amazons.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done brief stuff talking about. No, I've done brief research into Wonder Woman lore because it's actually pretty interesting. I'm still looking into it, obviously, but the Amazons are actually supposed to be reincarnated women that were, I believe, violently murdered. There's like a whole thing in there. And I think we can both agree we don't want, well, I don't know about you. I don't think Diana should be a demigod. Making her a child molded from clay and given life and blessed by the gods is a lot more interesting than just being another child of one of the Greek gods.
Because as anyone who's ever read mythology can tell you, the gods get busy.
Mostly
So
Zeus.
much. Well, all the Olympians get busy, but Zeus in particular. It's hilarious to me that his wife is considered the goddess of marriage, but to the best of my knowledge, they never actually have a child together in
Hephaestus.
mythology.
I believe it was just Hephaestus. They had a child. That was their child.
I thought Hera had him by herself.
I can look that up real quick if you want.
In the same way that Zeus had Athena by himself.
Hold on. To be fair, this is like, again, it's the whole different, the complication of so many different
different versions of the same myth. Yeah, I know. But
okay,
to the best of my recollection, there is at least a version of events where Hera has Festus by herself.
okay. Yes, there is a version. Yeah, it makes mention here that bore him out of jealousy for Zeus giving birth to Athena. Though there is it's actually more common that he is the son of Zeus and Hera. Yeah, it's more widely recognized that he is a child of both the king and queen of
Okay,
Olympus.
fine. I stand at least semi-corrected.
Again, the thing about mythology is that there was no real like standardized.
Yeah. The hilarious thing, though, of course, is that even assuming that Hephaestus is their one and only child that they shared, Hera hated him and thought that he was weak and deformed. So,
And
like,
threw him off Olympus, or no, was it threw him off Olympus, or was it in? Because I knew he was at the base of Olympus working inside it, right?
yeah, in quite a lot of versions, he gets presented to her like you would to another mother after she's given birth, and she finds him weak and deformed and throws him up the freaking mountain. So poor Hera can't catch a break. The one time the one time she got her man to stop philandering for 5 seconds and actually have a child with her. Again, assuming that this isn't a having Hephaestus out of spite because Zeus had Athena out of spite. But even assuming that, the one child that she has to her name was essentially whatever the Greek divine equivalent of a cripple is. Lol.
All right. Why James Gunn is the perfect leader for the DCU? James Gunn has already proven his expertise in handling characters and stories in the MCU's Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy and in the landscape, the Suicide Squad. Aside from building a strong relationship with the actors and crew involved, Gunn is also a filmmaker who prioritizes story at the forefront while using DC Comics as an inspiration.
I don't know about that in so far at least.
Okay. As a writer and director, Gunn plays a significant role in ensuring that the DCU's larger narrative has as few flaws as possible, continue to take projects he likes while bringing in veteran writers and filmmakers to explore new visions and takes on certain characters. While it is normal to have second thoughts on some of his past decisions, learning from them is the only way forward as Gunn embraces a new chapter for the DCU.
Uh, James, I I say this as someone who really, really likes your work on Guardians and really, really liked Suicide Squad 2. Learn to delegate. For the love of God, please. You don't have to write or direct every major character. Learn to delegate things, please. Because I am 90% sure that Superman 2025 would have been a better movie if you had delegated it to somebody like Joe Johnson, for example. Anyway, moving on.
Okay. Da, 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 da. While it is, the director has shown that he's constantly trying to improve upon his previous choices, as shown with his regrets over Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, no, Volume 2's post-credit scene, which forced him to introduce Adam Warlock in its sequel.
I would have just saved him, James. Nobody said there was only a one movie length of time in like the gestation period. You certainly shouldn't have made him kind of retarded um by having him break out of the cocoon too early.
Now, as DCU is aiming to limit the number of promises given in post-credit scenes to avoid limiting future stories and prevent audience disappointment.
I'm not sure that's actually going to work, James, considering we know at least the first half of your first phase here. Like you can't simultaneously rely on interconnectivity and not be forced to actually pay off the shit you're setting up. Like you can't have it both ways. Either you can interconnect things or you can choose not to interconnect things. You can't have it both ways. That is definitely having your cake and eating it too, and you can't do that, James. You wanted the Kevin Feige job, you must now do the Kevin Feige job. Moving on.
Yeah. One sec. No, not every DC project will be perfect, but the fact that Gunn already knows that claim is a good sign for the DCEU. Hopefully, James' vision will later translate to a successful DC universe.
Yeah, it's only a good sign if you learn how to deal with these things before the movie comes out, James. You can't just Monday morning quarterback your way out of people's criticism. I'm glad that you have the self-awareness to acknowledge when you fuck things up, but the correct course of action there is to take the 3 years it takes you to make these movies and actually solve these problems before releasing them to the theater. Just saying. And also, when you have one set of ideas that contradict a completely different set of ideas, you have to decide to pick one. You can't have it both ways. That was one of the biggest problems with Superman 2025, which is trying to do everything at once, even when they contradict each other. Moving on.
Yeah, give me 1 sec.
Yep. Huh.
Sorry. They literally spent the first 30 seconds doing
Loading.
intro
Ah.
for the trailer. This Peacemaker Season 2 official Red Band trailer.
Banana.
Yes. Hold on, let me check the volume on this. Okay, let's get that a little higher. Okay. Banana.
What's all this?
I had some people over.
Oh, I see. You have a party. You don't even invite me.
You don't even seem that into sex.
I'm into sex because, like a lot of people, it's an opportunity to bond with my best friend.
That's not like a lot of people. We need the...
Vigilante was always fucking weird.
Mm.
Why does that feel like something you'd say to me?
Because it probably is.
I have weird friends. You know what? No, I haven't just realized that now. I'm not. No.
I was going to say, are you just now realizing just how unusual several of your friends are? As the Cheshire Cat would say, we're all mad here.
Okay. Yeah. See, this is the stuff James Gunn excels at. You know, the obscure, more or less raunchy stuff.
Yeah, quirky, unusual, unafraid of going full comic book.
I still think Creature Commandos should have been, like, I don't mind if he was like a lead writer on it, but I think
Yeah,
someone else should have handled that.
he needs to learn to delegate more than he does.
Well, okay, like again, I've made my issues known about Creature Commandos. It's just Suicide Squad, but with the monsters, and that's not Creature Commandos, really. Well, okay, let me rephrase. That is not what Creature Commandos did start off more or less like a Suicide Squad, in the original comics, like Weird War Tales.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as it has evolved, which relatively
It's become its own thing.
yes, the relatively most recent version, which would be like in Frankenstein Agent of Shade, I believe, which was in the New 52 like over a decade or so ago. So, mind you on that.
Mhm.
Would seem like the better idea to do a honestly, it could have been your version of Hellboy in a way.
It could have.
Handling like supernatural threats, which again would be a good introduction to the chapter known as Gods and Monsters.
Yeah, almost like you should have some gods and some monsters in your phase called Gods and Monsters. And no, Superman does not count because I don't care how much you want to be a cheeky little bastard and say, well, metaphorically he is. No, there are literal fucking supernatural beings in the DC universe. Use them, James. I don't fucking care about your metaphors and your symbolism and your themes and your crap. You have literal, straightforward, non-recontextualization required gods and monsters you can use. Etrigan the Demon. Hell, you could either do the Sentinels of Magic, the Justice League Dark, the Trenchcoat Brigade. Honestly, James Gunn would kill a Trenchcoat Brigade movie.
Okay, I'm gonna be fully honest, and don't hate me. I don't know if you
Go
would
ahead.
hate this idea, but what if he? Okay, keep it in line with Gods and Monsters, right?
Mhm.
What if he adapted the books of magic?
That wouldn't be a bad thing. I would prefer if we got an honest Sandman adaptation prior to this, because Dream does show up in the original books of magic. But yeah, the Trenchcoat Brigade is exactly the kind of thing that James Gunn excels at. Various assholes, anti-heroic assholes who are various forms of weird. And hell, John Constantine was kind of born from the punk subculture. So right there's your, like, that was one of the things that threw me for one of the largest loops, was James forcing punk rock onto Superman. I'm just like, you really were that desperate to have a 80s punk soundtrack, James? You couldn't have thought of something better to do with that? Hell, honestly, given how much of a traditional 80s fat cat character Lex Luthor was, he is where I would have put the punk rock influence, because basically in DC universe terms, Lex Luthor, at least the businessman version of Lex Luthor, is basically the closest thing that the DC universe has to Gordon Get-Go from the Wall Street movies. So he would have been more inclined, I think, towards the punk subculture of music than Clark is, but James had to find some way of sticking the punk motif in there, and he didn't think it through for more than 5 seconds. So, reasons. But yeah, the Trenchcoat Brigade would be cool, although I still think that Guy Ritchie would be the ideal director, writer, person for a John Constantine Hellblazer movie. Also, while we're on the topic, because because I fucking come up with entire teams when I do this sort of fan casting bullshit. Guy Ritchie is the director. The writers of Dead Like Me, Hannibal, and the first season of American Gods, bring back the showrunner for the Constantine NBC show while you're at it. And there was another person I was going to add to the creative team for Constantine or Hellblazer. Eli Roth. That was the other one. Because those people working together and actually bringing like a Derek Jarman-esque punk rock meets esotericism vibe to it would be an amazing Constantine. Would be an amazing Hellblazer / Constantine movie. But yeah, I could see James Gunn doing the Trent Cook Brigade. I could see James Gunn doing trying to think of some other. He could do Justice League Dark. I would rather see somebody else do Justice League Dark because I don't think James has much of a goth vibe to him. Is the problem there?
No, he's definitely punk, I would say.
Yeah, so like I would advise you to outsource that side of things a little bit more, because you just need to learn to delegate more, James. But anyway, we should banana.
Yeah.
Find Peacemaker. And like Lex Luthor, he's in possession of some kind of dimensional portal. I don't think you understand how important this is to the world.
Hey. Morning.
Don't. I know I'm being a pedantic asshat again, but in all seriousness, don't pull the Arthur C. Clarke bullshit. Lex Luthor's portals are not magic portals. They are weird quantum sci-fi tech portals.
He didn't say magic. He didn't say magic portal.
Didn't he?
No.
It sounded like it didn't. It sounded like magic portal to me.
Hold on. Going back. If it will fucking let me.
Yep.
Hold on.
In today's game of Dalton and Brainstormer versus the computer.
Yeah, no, he's in possession of some kind of dimensional portal. He didn't say magic.
Oh, dimensional portal. That's fine then. I guess I misheard. Thank God though, because I was about to go on such a rant.
And I thought I was going deaf. Jesus.
Yeah, but fine. Rant interrupted. But also, don't ever do the Arthur C. Clarke thing, because there are actual characters with actual magic in the setting. Don't fuck it over. Like, don't do what Thor did, basically, the first two Thors. Especially given that they knew they wanted to bring Doctor Strange in anyway, but que sera, sera. Banana.
Sorry, I had to answer a phone call real quick. I'm back.
Yep. Okay. Banana.
Morning. Fuck you then, you crib keep looking bitch.
We're right. We're free. We'll fight. No. We'll see.
Okay, so, but I'm gonna be honest. It's not that I don't like Peacemaker. Peacemaker is fine. It just doesn't grab me as much as as I would like it. As I would. It's a good character. You know, his story's interesting. Action's good. John Cena it's like one of his best roles, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fully rounded character, so. But I don't know. I just doesn't grab me. I'll watch it, but again, like it's not. He's not my like top 10
Mm.
characters. You know.
Hmm.
I think also because he's one of those guys. He's written that fucking speech he gives about how Batman not killing criminals. Granted, it works for the character and stuff and shit like that.
Yeah, it's what the character would think about that, so that's fine. Speaking of, did you see the behind the scenes making of documentary for Superman?
I did not. I didn't know that came out.
Yeah, I'll have to find it and send it to you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Trying to think. Nah. Okay. Moving on.
Banana.
But banana.
Oh, what the fuck?
Want the opponent. Let's be a real hero.
You're one of us. We need you.
I got nothing.
Good song choice.
Hmm.
Banana.
Yep.
You ready for the next adventure, pal? I'm gonna pretend you found that.
Gonna take it anymore.
Fuck off!
See, this is why James should stick to his outsider assholes. He's good at outsider assholes. He's very, very good at outsider assholes. But that seems to be the like length and breadth of his wheelhouse.
Banana.
Banana.
Who's that guy?
It's just some rude motherfucker who I say hi to every time and never says hi back.
I want to see the payoff to this whole joke. To be fair, like who
Yeah,
is
that's hilarious.
that keeps
That's
crossing?
hilarious.
Yeah, who's this alien dude that keeps crossing the dimensional armory that Peacemaker has? For one thing, I
Mhm.
just think the reason why he doesn't say hello is because he does not speak the language.
That is also possible.
I think that would be like the funniest and most simple choice. To be fair,
Yeah. It seems to be what they're telegraphing. Either that or it'll be kind of like Wong in the first Doctor Strange, where it'll make a point to show him being stoic and not reacting to Peacemaker for the entire season, and then he'll finally get the hello back.
He backs
Hey.
up when Peacemaker says "fuck off," so it does actually show that he kind of does understand him. So
Hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the payoff there is.
Yeah.
Anyway, next.
yeah, give me 1 sec. Okay. This is something I just recently found, and Dalton should. Well, I don't know. Dalton's always a bitter motherfucker, so I don't know. Whatever. I'm not gonna say it's happy. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. You are accurately describing reality. Well done, sir.
No, I'm not getting a fuck you there.
Not this time. No.
All right. So this is Wednesday season 2, part 2 of first trailer. I know you're probably not gonna like they broke it up in 2 parts, but
Just give me a decent number of episodes, damn it. It's not that hard.
I think you should really underestimate the short attention span Gen Z has. Speaking as Gen Z, by the way.
Well, okay, but I am a millennial. My attention span lasts a little bit longer than a goldfish on ketamine. Can we get a decent number of episodes back? Stop making miniseries the norm, damn it. And by the way, if you're only gonna give a mini-series worth of episodes, please strive to ensure that stuff actually happens in all of those episodes, instead of the first 5 episodes being a promise that things will happen later, one episode where things happen, and then the last episode trying to hit the undo button on everything that happened in the singular previous episode where things happened. Also, because I am a pedantic motherfucker, and also one of the, you know what, fuck it, no, I'm going to say it. I am one of the internet's biggest Addams Family fanboys, and I had a whole ass 40-minute video back in the day about how Wednesday was a very good show, but it had next to nothing to do with the Addams in terms of characterization. Please tell me that season 2 has more Addams in it, please.
Yeah, the first part of the season's already come out, right? I thought you would have watched it already.
I saw that it was a thing. I am waiting
For the whole thing.
for the whole thing, yes. I'm hoping that we get more Addams in this Addams Family adaptation at some point, because
Grandma Ma shows up.
right, but I don't want just someone with the character names there. I mean in terms of how the characters are actually supposed to be written. Like I said, I had a whole ass 40-minute video on ways in which Wednesday season 1, although a very good, very interesting and compelling show, was not a very good adaptation of the Addams Family or any of the qualities that are necessary to properly do the Addams.
When we get halfway to, because it's only 2 minutes, basically. I will ask this question because I want to ask you now, but I'm going to wait until we see a bit of this.
Okay.
Shall we?
Rise and shine, sleepyhead.
Principal Weems, ready for your sponge bath? What in the hell is this?
This isn't hell, Miss Adams.
But I understand the confusion.
That is hilarious. The reason why I find that so hilarious is because despite my many problems with Netflix's Sandman adaptation, that is one of the best meta jokes in Netflix's history. Because the same actor who plays the principal in Wednesday is Lucifer Morningstar in the Netflix adaptation of the Sandman. So
Sorry.
That is some grade A meta joke right there. That is how you do a meta joke properly, motherfuckers.
So I want to be fully honest, right? Gwendolyn Christie is smoking hot. I ain't gonna front. I'm not just saying that because she's a tall fucking woman. Shut the fuck up. I think I brought this up when we first saw the first season trailer and the clip for the first season, right?
Mhm.
I did not like the design of Lucifer, mainly because of the design that was in the comics, which I have read most of them. Thank you, Dalton, for recommending them.
Uh-huh.
And I think Gwendolyn Christie could have played like they did with Tilda Swinton as Gabriel in the Keanu Reeves Constantine movie.
Which honestly, look-wise, those two are very similar, actually. Also voice-wise, now that I think about it. Their voices are also very close.
She could have worn a suit and had the same hairstyle as Lucifer from the comics. She could have been androgynous, which I think she works, but she's also, again, it's just like the design for Lucifer in the Netflix Sandman show was so fucking horrible.
Lame.
Yeah.
Empty and half-assed, just like every other fucking aspect of it. And honestly, at this point, I'm waiting for Neil Gaiman to die so that I can get a decent Sandman adaptation. I'm not actually wishing death upon him or anything, but at this point, given how brain-rotted Neil Gaiman is and how much he seems to think that he is the secret sauce of what made Sandman awesome, we're never going to get a good Sandman adaptation again until Neil Gaiman dies. And I believe he is in his early 60s, so I will have at least 20 to 30 years of waiting before we will get a decent Sandman adaptation, therefore. But yeah, we're probably not going to get a good Sandman adaptation until Neil Gaiman dies. And that annoys me, but que sera, sera.
Right.
I'm not the one who lost my touch 20 years ago and then proceeded to freaking dose myself on political brain rot.
Motherfucker,
So
you don't have a touch. Can't do anything with your hands.
my hands work just fine. It is my legs that are the issue, you cunt.
They had poor hand-eye coordination.
Coordination, yes, because my optic nerve processes information at like several hundred millionths of a second slower than it's supposed to. So hand-eye coordination is a son of a bitch. But my hands mostly work fine. It's my legs that are the issue. Yeah, cunt. Although, to be fair, when I got checked by the people or the doctor that disability services insisted we go to, she did suggest to me that I might be quadriplegic after all, because apparently it's not normal for people with diaplegic cerebral palsy to have such issues with like tying things as I tend to have, and my handwriting is an indicator that I might have some issues with my hands. But as far as I am aware, my hands are mostly okay. But anyway.
If I'm not dead, then why are you here?
Because I am your new spirit guide. Surprise.
Tyler's
Oh,
still
that's
out there.
right. She did
He
die
has
at
plans
the
to
end
kill
of
both
season.
of us. I'm going to fix it. Fix it? You're the reason he escaped.
She's got a point.
I mean, I like seeing Gwendolyn Christie in things, so, and they did set up that, you know, Wednesday is descended from a line of witches, so having her able to, you know, see dead people TM does make sense. By the way, I hope there's more expansion on that, and I am glad to see that they didn't get rid of Kyle, the Hyde kid. Because one of the things that bothered me about Wednesday season 1, and under the subheader of the Addams don't act like the Addams are supposed to, to Wednesday, the idea of dating a monster should not be a bug; it should be a feature. And to Morticia and Gomez, having a monster in the family should be a feature, not a bug. So I am kind of glad that we're getting rid of generic other love interest dude and having Wednesday hopefully still pursue Kyle, because again, to Wednesday fucking Adams, the fact that she's dating a monster is a feature, not a bug. Granted, she's not apparently alone in that, because monster fucking is very popular in certain subcultures, but that's neither here nor there. It is both something that is topical at the moment, but also in character for Wednesday. So I'm glad they're keeping the Hyde kid around.
Stay out of this. Who are you talking to? No one.
We don't solve anything in this.
Okay, since we are kind of at the halfway point, I want to ask. I don't think I ever asked you when we covered the first Wednesday trailers. What would be your okay? What would be like a modern Addams Family show if you were in charge of it?
It's hard to do, and this is one of those cases where it's hard to do because other iterations have got it so right. The main template would be the original comics, obviously, and the Barry Sonnenfeld movies. Like that, the Barry Sonnenfeld movies, Addams Family and Addams Family Values, are probably the best Addams Family adaptation outside of the comics. And so that would probably be the place I would take the most inspiration from outside of the original comics. So I do actually have an omnibus of all of Charles Addams' original comics. Got it for Christmas last year. Although, one thing that the Barry Sonnenfeld movies did kind of skimp on that I would definitely focus more on, and this show is kind of a symptom of something that annoys me as well. I love how much of an Addams Wednesday is, but please, for the love of all that is holy, give Pugsley something to do. Give him an Addams quirk, please. Because as by Addams Family standards, most versions of Pugsley are way more normal than his sister. And I'm all for Wednesday being, goth, edgy Daria, but being that as it may, please, for the love of God, give Pugsley some Addams qualities, please. Like, the very notion that he was able to be beat up in Wednesday Season 1 is a farce. Almost all of the Addamses are masochistic and immune to basically every form of, torture, poison, and, decapitation on record. You should not be able to hurt an Addams. And any attempt to hurt an Addams should basically just turn them on, basically. So the very notion that Wednesday had to save Pugsley from bullies in the previous season is annoying, because there is no force on this earth that should be able to elicit a bullied response from an Addams. Frankly, Pugsley should have started hitting on one of the boys trying to bully him, like Gomez does with Morticia. If we're being Addams Family consistent. Like I said, I went into a whole ass 40-minute video rant on how Wednesday's a good show, but it doesn't really understand the Addams years ago. So I'm not gonna go through and hyper pedantically examine all of the things I have problems with Wednesday, but yeah. Moving on.
All right.
Family with words. They do it with deeds. Most of them dirty.
What fun!
Every family has dark chapters, Wednesday.
If there's ever a time to unburden yourself with the truth, now is it.
Oh God, they're doing it again. Stop treating the Addams like every other sitcom family. The Addams do not hide their dark secrets. The Addams broadcast them with a fucking megaphone. They gloat about their dark family history. They do not keep secrets from each other or even random strangers when it comes to their dark history. To an Addams, the things that freak them out are things that most of us would consider fundamentally normal. Like,
Again,
in
it's
Addams...
like- sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, I think I can't remember if it was the first one or it might have been the second season trailer. No, actually, it was the first season. We talked about what would have been the emo face for an Addams would have been the
like manic pixie dream girl Sharpay from High School Musical mode.
Thank you.
Like, they actually made this joke in Addams Family Values when the new baby Pubert gets sick. He starts looking blonde and like cherubic, and it freaks the Addams out because to them, like the gothic morbidity of being an Addams is normal. So to an Addams, what would qualify to them as a dark family secret is probably that one of their family members became like perfectly upstanding, moral, like suburbanite member of society. That's the thing that an Addams would be ashamed of. The Addams, one, they just don't keep secrets from each other, period. So the fact that not only season 1, but also now apparently season 2 are going to treat the Addams family like every other sitcom family or every other like teen drama family pisses me off. The Addams don't okay, so like season 1, for example. Season 1 was focused on the secret that Gomez killed someone or thought he killed someone at Nevermore when he and Morticia were teenagers. Gomez Addams does not hide his criminal history. Like, to an Addams, come over here and let me show you my black book where I have all my convictions, is their equivalent of the embarrassing, overbearing parent showing the family photo album. Like that, like the Addams family photo album should literally just be them getting mugshots from doing various unspeakable crimes. He should hang his he should like hang his conviction papers from getting convicted of things on the wall in the same way some people do with like a diploma or some shit. That's an Addams response. It should not be this dark, twisted, shameful thing because one, the Addams don't keep secrets from each other ever, and two, even if they did for some like reason have something to keep from each other, it would be the kinds of things that would normally be a like normal and well-adjusted suburban bitch. Moving on, though.
Balance.
If you don't hurry, you'll have nothing left to save.
Beware. There will be a price to pay.
I'm still kind of two minds on the whole family legacy of witchcraft thing. Because on the one hand, I don't mind it. And on the other hand, it does kind of go against the spirit of the Addams a little bit. Because the thing with the Addams is they each have their own idiosyncrasies and their own particular gifts and things. So the idea that everyone in Morticia's side of the family was just witchy because they were witches, rather than just being witchy because she and her mother liked, witchcraft. I'm not entirely opposed to the Addams being semi-supernatural creatures, but on the other hand, it does kind of cheapen their eccentricities a bit if it's just a, unilateral family legacy thing. The best thing about the Addams, or one of the best things about the Addams, in my opinion, is that they each have different idiosyncrasies. There's overlap and there's things they do together, but they each have their own unique variety of quirkiness. So making it as simple as, oh, the reason why me and my mother do witch stuff is because we're just a line of witches, cheapens it a little bit. Especially given that, as much as I hate the idea of Wednesday being a normal you don't understand me mom style teenager, the thing that the first season established was that she and Morticia didn't see eye to eye. So it would be more interesting if she didn't take after her mother in that way. But now she essentially has to, because the giving the Addams psychic powers arc from the first season has backdoored them into, okay, now Wednesday has her great grandmother's spellbook, and given that she has the spellbook, I want her to go full Gwen from Ben 10. You can't tell me, okay, we're gonna give Wednesday Addams witch powers and not expect me to go tell me more, even if I'm somewhat conflicted about the idea of the Addams having powers. Because this is the dichotomy thing that me and Brainstormer have talked about a couple of times. The Munsters are monsters trying to be normal, or as normal as they can be. But the Addams are, for the most part, normal people who choose to be monstrous because of their inclinations. That's the dichotomy between the Munsters and the Addams family. Munsters are monsters trying to be human. The Addams are humans trying to be monsters, essentially. So giving them powers and making them some kind of subspecies cheapens it a bit. Moving on.
Well, that was it. Also, hello, Giant Turtle. Good to see you. Unfortunately,
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm
you are welcome to catch it on the watch through, sir.
Yeah. So with that, folks, I want to say goodbye, adios, aloha, avideze, sayonara, peace, cheers, and
Shalom and fuck off.
bye, guys.